What's up?
Hey guys, and we are live. Welcome to the Ask Willie and Eugene Business Show.
Ooh, how's it, Rose from Cape Town?
Hello guys. Just jumping on, just popped in the comments who's on so we know who's live on our show. And if this is the first time that you're joining, just pop in the comments as well that it's the first time that you're joining. Amazing, it's starting to pick up again. I think it's starting to pick up. Myself and Willie were a bit discouraged when we started because we spent a lot of money running the show and getting everything up and running. Luckily, we've got sponsors now, but it's slowly starting to pick up. We actually watched a video of Joe Rogan. Who's watched the Joe Rogan podcast? He must have had the ones with Elon Musk and those guys. The one with Elon Musk where they smoked a joint on the show.
How do you thank the share price of a company? Smoke a joint online.
So he had, for his first 2 years on his podcast, he didn't have more than 200 viewers. And now Spotify bought him for $100 million, more than $1 billion for a talk show.
Sure.
So, cool guys. So
that's our goal.
Like I say, if it's the first time that you're here, we've got someone from Harare. I think that's our first international viewer. Welcome.
Hi there, welcome.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome to the show, guys. So into today's show, we've got a real cool guest. He's been a friend of mine. As you guys know, myself and Willie. Well, let me do a quick introduction, and then Willie, you can maybe just do a sponsors thing quick. So myself and Willie are digital entrepreneurs. We run a digital marketing agency, and then we've got online courses that shows guys how to launch their businesses online, how to build e-commerce stores, and then how to run your Facebook ad. And we also run our own mastermind groups, so high-level mastermind groups, and then we've got an entry-level mastermind group. So a lot of the guys are on here as part of our EHQ mastermind group. And then we've got a My Coach mastermind group, which is $1.5 a month. And Werner is a member of our My Coach mastermind group. So I've known Werner for about 2 years now, so he's on the show today. One of the few guys that knows more than double that myself and Willie knows about digital marketing and e-commerce and that sort of stuff. Really cool agency that he's got as well. So really interested and really curious to see what he can share for us on digital marketing. Who has, while we get on with it and while Willie just goes through some of our sponsors, just type in the comments, have you marketed on Google? So have you used Google Merchant Center or Google AdSense before? If you have, just type in the comments yes. If you haven't, just pop in and no comments. Cool, Willie.
Cool, everyone. So, yeah, thanks for actually joining the show. Without you guys, there can't be a show. And for everyone that's new, so this is our Give Back project. We firmly believe that when you do business, there's some form of social responsibility or give back that you need to do. And this is how we decided that we would do this. So we often joke that we pay to work here. So we just like to thank, and that is not a joke. So we would just like to thank all of our sponsors, the guys that help us to get the word out there. So eBiz Radio, Value Smart, Time IT, Time Digital, the guys from Tribe Up and Tontrack, they contribute quite a lot towards the show, letting us to paid advertising to get people to join. So yeah, thanks so much. Without you guys, we can't. And then for our members and the guys that's viewing the show, guys, on a weekly basis, you will be reminded to come to the show. Please, by all means, you can share those links to any of your close circle of friends who's got businesses or is looking to start businesses. The aim for us is to reach as many people as possible, and we can't do it without you guys and without sponsors. So yeah, thank you to everyone. So without further ado,
mastermind group as well.
Yes, that guys.
Group of people. So myself and Willie, one of our dreams or goals has been connecting entrepreneurs and creating like our own little economy, and we're busy creating that. It's taking a bit longer than what we expected to take, And there's a lot of challenges that comes up, and this year is no different. I mean, COVID, and last year was something else, and the year before that was something else. Every year there's going to be a different challenge in business. Yep. And it's about our mindset. How do we move beyond this? So it's a really cool group of guys we have on our mastermind group. So we've got over 100 members now in total. And then we've got a WhatsApp group. We've got guys who only wants to do the courses that we have, about 70 guys in our WhatsApp group. So it's slowly but surely growing. And we'll start doing live events from next week or the week after, where we'll start marketing our courses and stuff again. And then we'll share our insights with you. What worked, what didn't work, what paid advertising worked, how our sales funnels were set up. So really stoked about that. So we'll share all that information. And
yeah, Dean, but just one thing before we jump into today's guest. I mean, you mentioned that we've had hurdles there, and for everyone that's on or viewing and that's part of the group and stuff like that, you will always have hurdles. I think the most important thing of everything is just to never stop trying. Just keep on going and going and going. I mean, we've been at this for quite a long time, and I kid you not, you're like, every once in a while, you see Eugene doesn't have hair here in the front. So, he sits there and he's like pulling out his hair, and he's like, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? And I must say, Eugene, one of the nice things about having a partner, and that's why we also created a group, is we often speak about how entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. So now you sit with this problem and you can't discuss it with anyone, So yeah, just something from my side just before we go. And then like people are wishing away 2020. I kid you not, 2021, there will be something else that will hit us. So for me, all about the mindset.
But if you look at some of the stuff we've been struggling with, Willie, there's this one store that we've been struggling to get sales on for about 6 months now. And over time, each day, each week, each month, we continuously make changes to it. We continuously improve. And now the last 2 weeks has just taken off. I mean, we've probably done in total on that store in the last 2 weeks over 100,000 Rand worth of sales. And that's one of our own stores. So we build stores for customers, but we also run our own e-commerce stores as well. And the lesson for me in that is, if I stopped at the first hurdle I had, we wouldn't have had these sales. But we kept going forward. And our Google Ads Manager or Merchant Center only went live a few days ago, and we've only had 15 clicks on it. So that also still has to kick off, which is going to increase the sales dramatically from that. So it's about keep going on and keep moving forward. But if you don't have that tribe, so one piece of advice I can give you guys, even if you don't join our mastermind, just go and join a mastermind. Myself and Willie have been part of masterminds for years and years now. We're part of multiple masterminds, not just one. And that's where we build up all our connections. If we get stuck and we need to chat with someone, that's where we go to our network of trusted people. So most of the guys on here are entrepreneurs, or you've got an online store. Actually, just type in the comments as well. Do you have an online store, or do you want to build one, or don't you want to build one? Maybe just so we can see where the guys are.
Or even if you want to sell services online. A lot of the times guys think you can't sell services online. It works actually very well. So we've done all of it. We've sold digital products, services. So yeah, there's tricks and tips for any of those lines of business.
The guest for today is Werner. Sonia will introduce him now when we get on. So yeah, no, if we didn't have that network of people, I mean, entrepreneurship is lonely. Do you guys agree? I mean, it's a really lonely journey, and you get stuck. Who do you call? Who do you phone? It's not like when you work for a company and something doesn't work, you just pass it on up the ladder. If you're the owner of the business, there's no one to pass it on to. If something doesn't work, you sit and you have to figure it out. And it's just so much better if you can get someone in. I'm in real estate, Colin. That's really cool. We actually started playing around with Facebook ads for real estate, and especially for property sales and stuff. It's something I'm really curious about, because I think that's the next evolution in property sales. And if you're one of the first guys, then you're going to really coin it. And welcome to Werner.
Welcome, Werner.
guest on today's show. So I'll leave it to Werner to introduce himself. We've known each other probably 2-3 years now. Just an absolute genius when it comes to the digital side of things. No one is masters. If someone say they're a master of something or they're expert, they're lying. There's too much to know, and there's too many things that change on a regular basis to ever get to that point. It's a continuous journey. It's a continuous path of learning. Myself and Willie joke that we are students for life. And it's not a joke, for real. We are students for life.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Cool. So, Werner, I think before we get started, just do a quick introduction. Who are you? What's your company about, etc.?
Well, my name is Werner Wiegmann. I've got a company called Cultivate Internet Marketing. Actually, this company of mine's actually 10 years old this year. So just had to think about it. So I didn't realize it was that long already. I've been involved in various businesses over the last, let's say, 15 years. But this Elevate Internet Marketing business has always been my constant, like say, racehorse that always been driving things. And this company specializes in internet marketing, specifically in lead generation, paid traffic, which is Google ads and Facebook ads, and sales generation. And I guess a little bit of that comes with sales funnels and those things, which most people in our space these days is all the buzzwords and things like that. Yeah. That's basically it.
Cool. Werner, you mentioned that you've had this company for 10 years. Is that your first company? Or when did you get this actual urge to become an entrepreneur? You know, we ask guys every week, how did you start? And there's quite nice stories that comes out of this. How did your journey start?
Yeah, I think it probably comes back to my parents, I guess, and their relationship with money. I was always thinking about the way our family was. So even though we were a perfectly middle-class family, we always acted like we were poor. So we didn't make any smart money decisions or example of that would be just something simple, which always, me as a kid, I was highly irritated as a teenager. You are going to KFC for once a week when your parents say you can. But my dad always told me that there's no money to buy the burger meal. You can only get a streetwise tea. So that's something that really irritated me. And I said, okay, I have to figure out how to change the thought patterns behind money and how to actually be able to afford the good things in life. So, I guess I started in business exactly around that time when these things about money started bothering me with how our family was operating, and that you focus on the wrong things. You always want to focus on a mindset of lack in extent of there's more than enough to go around and in abundance. And I actually firstly, I think I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad firstly at that same time. That obviously changed most people's lives. I think I was in standard 6 then. And then at that same time, I met actually a friend of my dad's who became my first mentor. And at that stage, he drove a 500 SL Mercedes, which at that stage was like a Ferrari, and had an IT company and a consulting company and things. And I just realized that I have to find out why is this family we actually spend a hell of a lot of time with so much more wealthy than we are. What is the difference in the way they think and do things to what we are doing? Even though we had a very comfortable life, they were just way more comfortable. So there was nowhere. They went to all the best places, went to restaurants 6-7 times a week. So that's and they could afford it. So and there was never a thing of not enough. And it basically just came around to actually, in that stage, I had to learn a lot from how that person worked, but it all came basically to scale and leverage in that side. So he eventually helped me to start my first IT company at 15. At that stage, I was working under his brand. At that stage, he just took his CC's name, which was basically his surname with the numbers, and I started selling computers to all my friends. And also in the school. So eventually outfitted entire computer room at our school and those type of things. So yeah, but I think it's always just looking for. That was kind of a natural thing. I've always been looking for something extra, I guess, and that was just basically my first start in entrepreneurship. Eventually I ended up working for him as actually in one of his companies. At that stage, I was consulting. At the age of 19, I started as a consultant at Telkom, but it was under his company.
Okay. So a question off topic, Werner.
Yeah.
What has been one of your biggest struggles in business as an entrepreneur?
I think it's just understanding scale and team and things like that. So why you always hit a ceiling. And it seems like it's a constant thing that can repeat itself if you don't fix it. So you always reach, say, a certain level, and then suddenly you find yourself, oh, crap, everything just fell apart. What happened? And it's probably because your foundation wasn't correct. And you didn't build the business to go to the level that you wanted it to. So you built the business from the start to be centered around you, which most of us do, or a part of your business, which you haven't built up to handle scale or growth. And you will constantly fall between those parts if you don't actually put proper systems and functions and responsibilities in place and the right team in those things for growth or the scale that you actually want. So I realized, I always thought I'm just going to outwork myself up to a point where I'm going to make massive amount of money. And I realized that's impossible. You have to have team and your systems in place in order to reach your goals. Because you as one person can only do so much in 24 hours. So all you'll do is you'll get a heart attack. So it's, yeah.
It's interesting. We speak to quite a lot of entrepreneurs. And I must say, Eugene, I mean, we often speak about it and how the scale thing is actually one of the things that I find we struggle with the most. And you mentioned that team, you can't go to the next level with that team. You know, in the beginning, yes, you can play the person of all those hats, but I mean, there's just that level which you can't break through. Whatever you do, you will never break through that level if you do not have a team.
Yeah, so I think one of Eugene also met it at Roger Hamilton's things. He explains it the best to me. I think that's when I first actually completely got this, is that you can, if you want to go 120 kilometers an hour, you can't do that on a bicycle. The bicycle can only go 40 kilometers an hour. The bicycle will literally fall apart and break if you push it to that speed. So you need to change your bicycle and get a car. And if you want to go faster than that, you need to change the car to a plane in order to be able to handle the extra speed. If you want to go even faster than that, you need to sell or change the plane to a rocket ship. So, and it's a different vehicle with a different setup and a different entire base that it was built on. So it's not just you that is the pedaling faster. It's also your mechanisms that put everything together.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, quite a nice analogy for this.
What do you know Zig Ziglar? So if you know Zig Ziglar, type it in, really cool guy. If you don't know him, go check him out. He's dead now, eh?
Yeah, long time ago. But people use his stuff still. So, yeah.
So he had a thing where, and it's a really cool story that I've been thinking about, because how do you explain to someone, so myself and Willie are business coaches as well, and how do you explain to someone what a business coach is? And I've been trying to figure out a creative way of explaining to them, and he has something that's really cool. So he says he's a flea trainer. And they're like, what? A flea trainer? It's like, yeah. So if you put fleas in a cup and you put a glass on top of the cup, they'll jump and they'll hit the ceiling. And after a while of hitting the ceiling, they jump just below the ceiling. So they still jump, but just not high enough so they hit the piece of glass again. Eventually you can take the glass off and they won't jump out of the glass. They'll just jump in the glass without jumping out. So he says he helps people to see that the ceiling's gone and that they can actually jump out. And that's what happens to a lot of them. Because it's easy for business is easy until you start employing people. To start a business, find a few customers and sell yourself. That's the easy part of business.
Yep.
The difficult part of business is scaling that past yourself as the owner, operator, technician, employee, one-man type of business. When you want to start scaling, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, and it's always I've started quite a few new ventures over the last 5 years, and I always think, yes, I know how all this works, so I'm just going to skip all those steps that you need to take in the beginning and just go there. And then why doesn't it work? Because you didn't actually do work on your foundation in the first place. So you have to build the vehicle correctly in order to go where you need it to go. Otherwise, it's just going to fall apart. So the same thing with that Flea. The Flea only knows how to jump this high, so it can't go past that glass ceiling, for instance. So,
Anyway, so Werner, you mentioned you started off with IT, or being an IT buff. How the heck did you actually get into digital marketing?
So I told you I started as an IT consultant when I was 19. So I was very young age. I was running like Telkom's ordering system and all of those things, because we started so early and we were thrown in the deep end. We just had to learn. But obviously, I was paid per hour at that point, and I really don't like working hard. So I've always found ways to automate my work. So and this was very redundant stuff. So you run scripts all day, or you do system checks, or those type of things. So I actually found a way to automate all of my work, which takes my employees like 8 hours, or not my employees, but my team or my colleagues 8 hours a day to do, or some even more. I figured out like I can write scripts for all of the stuff. So I go in the morning and I just type in my script and I run my script, and my script does all the checks that you need to do manually, because now I've only typed this into once in this massive 20-page document, but it runs everything that everybody else sits and goes and does manually. So within half an hour, I'm done, where everybody else is still sitting there and working, or within 2 hours, if anything broken and I had to go and fix it, I'm also still done. So now I'm sitting there and I'm looking like I'm not working, but I had exactly the same output as everyone else, except now everybody thinks I don't do anything. So,
you're getting praise for being efficient.
But in that environment, in a normal job environment where people only see you must be busy to be working and produce.
Yeah.
It's very different mindset. So when it came time to ask for a raise, they said, "But you sit and do nothing all day." So it's like, okay, I have to figure something out. So I then started looking for, kind of always been looking, but I always look for extra income. So I've always been investing in property, and I realized, okay, there's the online thing was just actually starting to become really popular. So I took a course. I ordered the course from overseas. It still came via post with CDs, and on how to build my first website and for money. So I did this whole course, watched the DVDs on my TV, with a DVD player, and it was DVD player back then. Yeah. So that got me to build my first information site, that was 2006, where I earned AdSense income, Google AdSense income, whenever anybody clicked on a link, or I referred them to a website where they made a purchase and I got commission. So I went on to go and build quite a few of those. In the end, in 2008, I started a web development company with a friend of mine. And about a year and after doing that, I realized, okay, I need to go and find another mentor to get me to the next level. So I started looking around for somebody that has been there and done that. And I said, okay, I'm going to try and look for somebody in South Africa, which everybody I was learning from at that stage was on the internet and overseas. So, and I actually found somebody in Durban, and he was doing what I was doing, just at massive scale, absolutely massive scale. So he had 80 employees running everything remotely from his home office in Durban. So it was actually quite amazing to see that. So he eventually became my mentor, and we started a few businesses together. But basically what that boiled down to is he taught me about marketing, and everything that goes with that is probably on the digital side. Is digital to me is just a tool, but you have to have the foundation in place, which is you know how to market and how to sell and how to write copy and how to put offers together and those type of things, which basically was what I learned with all of those things.
Yeah, there's a big misconception about that where you're just going to pop an ad on and then you're going to start selling stuff. And people forget about copy and sales funnels and credibility and.
Yep.
Yeah, there's lots of things which makes things work. And it always seems like the next guy has got the magic pill. There is no magic pill. It's all of this is just tools. So even you were talking about Zig Ziglar, who's been dead for many years. And those guys with their principles, they still work today. You must just get them how you use those principles in the tools that we have available to us, which makes our life much easier and faster and accessible. We can do business I'm sitting in my home office in Cape Town with people in Miami or wherever they are in the world. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Yep. So, and that was not available to anybody 10 years ago.
Yep.
The thing when Fiverr just launched, you guys have heard of Fiverr. So when they launched, basically everything on their site was $5. So you could sell your services for $5. So as you change the package for $5. So there's this guy, and I think it was a US-based company, where the company employed him to do a certain amount of work. And he could do the work. He was trained to do the work. And then he started realizing he can outsource a lot of his tasks on Fiverr. Started outsourcing all his stuff, and he took eventually like half his salary and outsourced the stuff. And half the day he was sitting doing nothing. And they kept giving him more work and bigger projects and more complex projects. And he just kept on delivering on time every time. And he got promotion after promotion. And he moved up the ladder until they eventually one day found it out and they fired him. It was like, why the hell would you fire that guy? Like, figure out how to do more of that. This guy scaled their business like you can't believe, using outsourced platforms.
And that's actually very funny. So that mentor I've talked about in Durban, he did a lot of that. So he found very cheap employment in the Philippines, paid those guys like $1 an hour or something crazy. At that stage, those guys would literally work for $3 a day, I think. And they would end up just doing all his automated work that he needs to go and do. So he could go and surf all day. He actually only does 2 hours of work in the morning. Then he would go and make sure everything's scheduled with his team. And off he goes and surfs. And by the time he gets back, it's time to start the campaigns off. You just check if all the work's done and hit the button and see the money come in. So
there's some big marketing companies in South Africa. Now, one of our clients on the IT space, I can't obviously say who it is. They do over $1 billion a year in sales on digital marketing and ad campaigns. They do the whole thing. So they do PR, they do your designs, they do brochures, TV ads, all that sort of stuff. But big names. Some of the biggest companies in South Africa are all with them. R1 billion in sales doing digital marketing. I was like, what are we doing wrong? We're doing something wrong.
What we're doing is right is we keep on trying. So
no, well, another thing that I learned there is sometimes you are just playing too small. So that your scale that you're applying to your problem is too small to make an impact. You need to do more and bigger and faster. So in order to have an impact. So a lot of the stuff that I've been successful with just doesn't work when you do it small. You have to go big. And with big, I know it's very scary sometimes because you're playing with much bigger budgets, but it gives you data very, very quickly. So you can make changes basically hourly or at worst daily, because you're getting so much traffic and information back. Where if you play small and you say, okay, well, I'm only going to spend 3,000 Rand this month on this budget, then you have to wait a whole month for 200 people to look at your offer. Where then it's going to take you 12 months to do the same that the big company said, okay, well, let's just smash it. And we'll within 2 weeks, they've made all of the changes, they've optimized their offer, they've perfectly matched it to their market, and it's working. Where you say, okay, well, why is my stuff not working? By that time you found out because he's only spending so little amount of money on marketing, it's too late. Probably the market's been captured or you've been pushed out. So, yeah.
So talking about that, I think let's get into the digital marketing stuff. So firstly, guys, who's running digital marketing ads? Who's running on Facebook or Google or anything like that, who's successful in running that? Just pop it in the comments. And then if you have any questions, type in the comments. What is one thing that you would like to know about digital marketing or sales funnels or landing pages, or Google AdSense or Merchant Center or something like that? If you have a specific question, what platform to use, anything, pop it in the comments. Now's your time to ask. You're not going to get this opportunity again. You're going to pay thousands to get this type of advice anywhere else. So use the opportunity now. So let's get into the digital marketing space. Werner, firstly, what platforms do you use?
So I go where the stuff I know, so which is firstly Google, which I'm absolutely love, but it's also because I'm probably an expert in that. I've been running ads on Google since forever. So and Facebook as well. I wasn't a big fan of it until recently. So just because.
So you can teach it all new tricks.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to understand the platforms as well to be able to use them. So you're not the person. Don't come to me for LinkedIn advice, but I can tell you a lot about Google ads and Facebook ads right now.
Yeah.
So and I've always thought about that. So before I go and explore 20 million things, I'd rather go and say, okay, well, I'll focus on the platforms I know and get those things to work well. Yeah. So I've always preferred Google, just for the simple reason that you can find highly qualified customers there. And people who are on Google are looking for a specific solution to their problems right now. They've already done most of their pre-searching, why they're there. They passed the learning phase. They're now looking for a solution. So that's when you can position your company right in front of the right guys at the right time and make sure that they contact you. Now, in doing Google ads, there's a specific formula for it to work. So I see a lot of people doing it wrong. So you don't set up Google ads and leave it to run and then send it all to your homepage. People need to be guided, and you should see it as a conversation. So if somebody's looking for a specific solution, make sure that wherever you're sending them to on your website addresses the specific solution and continues the conversation you had with them on the ad already, on the landing page with a specific call to action, so that they can contact you very, very easily. That needs to happen within 2 minutes. So, and if that doesn't happen, people will disconnect and just close your site. So if you send them on their own little fact-finding mission, it won't work. People don't do that. So be very specific with the actions that you want people to take on your website. Now, Facebook, I also really like recently because they got very, very, very powerful artificial intelligence in the system. It is actually a bit scary what Facebook can do for us as human beings, but we won't get into that now. But they know everything about us, everything. So, but in that is a massive opportunity for us as marketers and as business owners, because all your clients are on there, and Facebook knows how to go and find them. So you can just, if you know how to feed the system, you can speak to your clients very easily. But in saying that, you're interrupting your customer on Facebook. They're not there looking for a specific solution. So you need to have a specific funnel that works on Facebook. The way you've set up a funnel on Google is not going to work on Facebook. So there's a very different way of setting up a funnel on Facebook. But still, both have their place. And I've actually found them recently to work extremely well together. So
okay. And how would you set up a campaign using both of these platforms to letting them work in unison?
So a simple example would be that you would go and set up some type of lead magnet for your specific market. So say you set up a how-to guide, or you do a webinar like you guys are doing, or you do a mini course, or you set up like a 5 simple steps tips newsletter, or something that people can sign up to immediately and download that immediately solves a pain point for them. In that, you capture the email address and the contact details. With that, you can then go and retarget them.
Okay.
So now you've gotten the first point of contact where the customer becomes aware of your business. On the second point, then you actually go and email them, where now they see your brand for the second time. You can go and retarget them again on Facebook. You can go and retarget them again on Google because they visited your website. You can, from there, then they'll start searching for your brand. At that point, you place a nice ad for them, telling them how you can solve their problem once again and start a new conversation. So those things all really, really work well together, especially with the retargeting side of things. So even what I've seen in e-commerce as well is if somebody's they clicked on an ad on Google, they go to the website, they don't purchase, I retarget them on Facebook, showing them the same ad or even just a simple brand advert. That takes them back to the website, they complete the purchase, and vice versa, actually.
And do you also find that's like one of the biggest mistakes we see newbies make when they get digital marketing? And if I say newbies, I actually want to include the majority of digital marketers in South Africa. I don't think they actually understand retargeting and how powerful that is. And it's just flipping. I love it to hear someone say, how do you use these things in unison to retarget? And for everyone that's listening, if you do not have a retargeting strategy, do not get disheartened if you don't sell stuff online. There's these various touch points which we talk about all the time, and this is how it gets done.
So it's like in the analogy is like you're going on a date with somebody for the first time, and you're asking them to marry you on the first date. That's exactly what most people are doing because it's the easiest way to. But you're gonna. Well, if you're crazy enough, you might get some success, but that's not something that you can repeat. So
there's some crazy ones out there.
But in most cases, you have to go. People actually go through a whole sequence with your business, which is typically anything between 3 to 9 points of contact before they actually make a purchase decision. So, and you have to make sure that you take them through those steps in order to build the trust and the credibility as well for your brand.
There's a thing that we saw as well recently. What you're talking about is how that message has to be congruent. So you're putting an ad on Facebook for tractor tires, and when the guy clicks on it, you send him to your own page where you sell blow-biller glasses or something. It's like, what?
Confused the hell out of them.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And talking about the remarketing, so a lot of the guys, if you join the show afterwards, there's a retargeting ad for our mastermind. So you'll see our ads.
So something I based all of my stuff on, but maybe you guys do as well. If you guys go and Google customer value journey, that's something that's very, very important, and you need to pay a lot of attention to. And your customer avatar, who are you exactly speaking to, and how do you take them through those steps I've talked about now? To make sure that you set up a plan to catch them through all of those buying phases.
Yeah. So I see George says nice Movembers. Who else is doing Movember? Remember, if you grow, you can't just grow the mustache. You have to actually donate as well.
Yes, and you must go for the test.
Actually, there's some better ways of testing. Wants to know.
Yeah, go for it. Go with a question.
So Etienne wants to know what's a place to start and the first step to take before you get started with that, Werner. Etienne, just something important. There's a lot of processes in it and a lot of things that has to be up and running for something like that to work. So,
sorry.
A network, because there's continuous things where you continuously have to learn, and to go and learn that by yourself. And this is a tip for everyone. You can't learn the stuff by yourself. You need people like Willie and Werner and everyone that I can phone and say, yes, dude, I'm struggling with this. How do I get this working? Why isn't this working? You need to have that people in your corner. Otherwise, you're going to hit a roadblock and you're going to give up. So find a network of people. That's why our mastermind is there. Is we created this place where on our WhatsApp group, the guys can say, listen, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with this. What payment gateway do you use? What platform do you use? What's the benefit of this versus this? So the first step would be to find a network. And then from a digital marketing side, Werner, what would you recommend? Where do they get started on this?
Well, I actually like your point very much. So actually with one of my clients, we're in an elite mastermind with some of the guys we follow in America over the last while. I just want to give you an example of that. So that CEO of that company, which is a multi-million US dollar company, has asked us to report on our progress for the last while, and we implemented some simple things. I can't even remember what it was on our lead magnets. And he was sitting there and listening to us do our testimonial, and he said, "Oh, hell, we actually teach this now. We are not doing it in our own company. We forgot to actually that we need to use this, and we stopped doing this." And he asked his team right there, "Why did we stop using this?" And they said, "We don't know. Let's do it." And after 3 weeks, I see now they're marketing. They've implemented it back again. But the whole thing is that you are never. You said it when we started. You are never a master at these things. There's always something you forget to do or you've done in the past, but now you're not doing it anymore. So with a group of people, you're sitting in a mastermind, it's probably stuff you've learned before, but you forgot that you need to do that, or you're missing a step, or something like that. So that's a very important place to start. And in saying that as well, I think a lot of people always forget about market fits for your product. So make sure that whatever you're going to sell, the market actually wants. So a lot of people start and they think, I'm going to build this great brand, but what's your brand going to sell? Is your brand actually solving a solution? So maybe because I'm a direct marketer, I've never focused on brand. So I've always focused on making sure that the offer provides a great solution to my clients. And then the brand thing actually comes naturally. It's very easy to build your brand after that. So make sure that you find what your clientele wants. If you're really interested in the market, you can go and send a survey and ask them what they want and build an offer around that. So there's even some great things to do around those things as well. So
there's a cool test that you guys can do as well. So we've shared it on our mastermind group, so everyone there knows it. But for everyone that's not in our mastermind, you can go and have a look at Ikigai. So it's an Ikigai test where it's what your purpose, or just find your purpose. So what does the world need? What can you get paid for? What do you love doing? And what do you have an exceptional skill in? So if you go through all four of those, then it comes through with like a few different things that you can focus on. And it's important to focus on things that you have a passion for. A lot of guys start out and they go into something that they actually just have a skill with, and they forget that they need to have a passion, because it's going to be some crappy days. You're going to wake up on days where it's going to be crap. And if you don't have the passion for that business and you don't have a drive and you don't have a why, Simon Sinek talks about start with why. If you don't have that why, you're going to give up when it gets tough. So very, very important, not just look where you can make money, because you can make money in everything. Myself and Willie have sat with companies where they said, well, this is actually my purpose, but I'm doing this for the money. And we figure out a way where we help them make money out of their purpose and their passion. We can make money out of everything, out of anything, out of any passion. The key is to not go after the money first and then the passion. Go after the passion and figure out how to make money. You're going to give up on good stuff.
So I found myself in the other way around as well before. So where you started something and now you end up in this business, which is now a monster, and it's not anything related to your passion. But that Ikigai test, things like that, actually helps you to tie that business that you've built back into your passion and your values. So, and if you do that, your whole mindset around your business changes as well, and the way you implement things. So even though if you feel like you're stuck in a business which is you're not passionate about right now, maybe go and see if you can tie it into some charity or something that's of value to you and something that you are passionate about. And there is ways to bring that into your business.
Yeah. And the thing is, you mentioned it, Eugene, is we're all going to have crappy days. I'll rather have a crappy day and love what I do than have a crappy day and hate what I do. So, yeah.
100%.
Great.
So we've got time for one last question, Willie. I think you can ask the question. Before we go on, I just want to pop it. The Ikigai. You can just Google it, Ikigai test. Mastermind, if you are, then the link is shared on there. Otherwise, I'll share it after the show again. For the guys that aren't on our mastermind yet, if you do want to join, I'm just going to pop in the comments a link to it. So our mastermind's $199 a month. if you do want to join it, click on the link Entrepreneur HQ/Mastermind. That is our mastermind group where you get all our courses, you get access to myself and Willie. We share a lot of content after the group. With that, you get discounts on a whole bunch of our future products. So we've got products now, for example, our 5,000 Rand that we have like a 3-day boot camp. If you're part of the group, you get like 20% off. And then we've got monthly Zoom sessions and stuff like that as well. So you're welcome to join that, and all the Zoom sessions, all the WhatsApp groups, the Facebook groups, the courses, everything's for free with our membership. And we continuously add stuff on there. So really cool. If you do want to join it, click on the link and join our mastermind group. If you don't join our mastermind group, join a different one, guys. It's imperative that you join a mastermind group. They range anywhere from a group to 300,000-400,000 a year. So Werner will know some of the masterminds, Rogers and so on, 350,000 a year. So you don't have to join the high level mastermind. Join a cheap one like our one for $200. Really cool.
But I would also suggest that it depends on what level of business you are. It doesn't help if you don't have a business to go and join that high level mastermind. Exactly. You cannot use the information that is shared. So you must actually go on the level with which you are. So and find somebody that can guide you through that step first.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that Ikigai test, trainer. Cool. Really, last question before we jump off.
So last question before we jump off. So we're seeing that the digital advertising tech is getting quite advanced now. What would you say is the next big thing for digital marketing?
So I'm a big believer in simplicity, and that things don't actually change as much as you think. So it's just the tools that change, and so our human needs stay the same. We need food, we need shelter, we need love. Those things will always be there. So it's just how you apply it and how you reach your clients. So, but in saying that, I think the next opportunity is probably in e-commerce, so online shopping. I don't know what it's going to be. It might be the next guy's shop that they start, but remember that it's always just a tool that you use to speak to a real person. So always trying to keep your businesses real. People are looking for trust. They're looking to make connections. They are not looking to speak to robots. I've tested this many, many, many times. People want to speak to a real person. So
people want to sell to people.
Yep, always. Even though it's at scale, make sure that you can still make a real connection with your clients and keep them.
Awesome stuff. Thanks for joining us. Werner's actually helping us getting our merchant center up and running as well. So we'll share a few tips and tricks on that for our tech business where we're selling the tech stuff online. And hopefully that's going to make a massive impact in our sales as well. So I'll share some of the tips and tricks we learn of that on the Mastermind group as well. But otherwise, guys, remember to take action. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So remember, even if you don't know where to start or what to do, just start. Just start doing something. And after time, because we don't know what it's going to be yet, but in time, you'll start seeing the picture. But you have to start to be able to see that.
Yep.
So thanks for joining us. We won't keep you any longer. Werner, thanks for joining us and sharing your knowledge with us. Really valuable.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Werner, for making time for us.
Thank you.
Cheers. That's it. Everyone else, thanks for joining. Without you either, there can't be a show. But anyway.
Definitely. Thanks for joining, guys. Without you, no show.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.